2:02 p.m. and I want to go over that website that I made a while ago about the medicine ball. Up here is the folder medicine ball, and inside of it, if I can open it, got a lot of stuff. I've got medicineball.html, which is my opening page, and I happen to have that over here. I'll go over the code again, and then I have a folder called box, and when I click inside a box, I have a bunch of bitmap images of the models showing their exercises, which you'll see over here on the left, and it's very tiny, you can't tell, but there are image links up here at the top on both of these. This browser on the left is Chrome, and this browser on the right is Firefox. Chrome has a slightly more pointed tab, and Firefox has a more rounded tab. You can see that even though these are using the exact same style sheet, they look a little bit different. The borders around the image links up here look black in Chrome, but in Firefox they look like they're gray. Another thing, in Chrome it picks up my MP4 video that was taken with my cell phone, and in Firefox it is not picking up my MP4 video. So I have to somehow do a file conversion so that I have MP4, OGG, and WebM. I actually did try to do a conversion with my very first MP4 video by using VLC Media Player, but it still didn't work. So I either need a new file converter or there's something else that I need to download that I'm not aware of right now, or some kind of configuration that I need to fix. But anyway, the videos do work in Chrome. When I do figure out what the problem is with Firefox, I'll do a video on that. But basically the video for this particular one is kind of going back to another one that I did that has 3 different style sheets based on the width of the viewport. And when I say viewport, I mean this little window right here, because on my desktop I can stretch this window or I can contract it to make it narrow or wide. Now my desktop monitor is not huge, but it's not a squarish shape. It's more of a rectangular shape. And so when I have this viewport shape that is taller than it is wide, its height, it's got more of a height than it does a width. When it's a narrow viewport, I'm going to have my elements situated slightly different than when it's full screen, because when it's full screen it's going to be wider than it is. It'll have more of a width than it does a height. So it kind of messes with your elements. Now, one of the things that I want to do as my viewport gets bigger is I want this tiny print right over here that shows the reps and everything. I want that to get a little bit larger with each step up in size, and this center part right here, I want that font to get bigger too. So the percentage of width that I give my image here and my video is actually greater when the viewport is smaller. As I get larger, I have to actually make my widths a little smaller for these two, the image and the video. Otherwise, this bottom part of the table here, this third table row, I wind up losing this information. You would have to scroll past the screen to get to it. So I had to do a little foo-fooing around with the percentages to make sure I didn't lose any of the view of the information here. Okay, so here you see a large style.css, a medium style.css, a small style.css, and up here are the pages, 1.html all the way to 7.html. I thought that I could, since my images were not perfect squares or a perfect rectangle, all being the exact same shape and dimension, I thought if I saved in Paint all the images with either the same height or the same width, that it would give me more of a consistency. But it really didn't make a difference, because when it came down to the aspect ratio not being skewed, you're still going to get these various sizes. Like if you look up here at the image links, well, you can't really see them, but I'm trying to point to them up here in this red navigation area. You see they look like various types of buttons. They look like ovals or circles in various forms. So if you don't want to have images that are like that, then you have to make sure that you crop your pictures all to the same dimension, whether it's a perfect square or the same rectangle, but otherwise you're going to have the strange inconsistent sizes of your images and your image links. Okay, let's see what else. That's why I have bitmaps up here and JPEGs down here, because I think I think I saved them with the same length in the JPEG, and I mean the same width in the JPEG and the same height in the bitmap, but like I said, to keep the aspect ratio, it didn't make a difference. Here's all my MP4 files, my video files that I need to configure to OGG and WebM, and hopefully the Firefox will then pick up my video. And I think that's all I need to show you. See right here, you can see I attempted to make 1.mp4. I attempted to convert that to 1.ogg and 1.webm, but when I click this button right here in Firefox, it still says no video with supported format and MIME type found. So there's something wrong. Even though it does show me this, did you see how that player popped up like an audio player? When you click it, it doesn't do anything. Whereas over here in Chrome, when you click it, even though it's really, really tiny, it starts to play. Originally, I had the the video set to autoplay and loop, but since I've been working on the styles, I didn't want to keep messing with something trying to run. It's bad enough that I'm running more than one browser. I didn't want a bunch of videos running too. So I actually set that to not, if I could pause it, to not autoplay. All right, let me get out of the box, the medicine ball box. Let me minimize Firefox. When I click this first one, first thing I'm going to do is this is the smallest size. So at the smallest size, this medicine ball is using smallstyle.css. And I just want to click each of these image links at the smallest size. This has the title, which pops as a tooltip of tricep. When you click hover the next one, it says side sweep. When you hover the third image link, it says lunge. The fourth image link says ski jumps. The fifth image link says twist. The sixth image link says leg raises, and the seventh image link says push up. So I'll click them all. This was the first one. And remember, my goal was no matter what size of the viewport, I didn't want to lose this entire table. This is a table that has a blue border, and also each table data cell also has a blue border. So that's why you see up here you see two blue borders. That's because this table row has two table data cells in it, and the second table row has one table data cell with a call span of 4, so it goes across 4. Oh, and on the top here, this first table data cell has a call span of 2. It takes up two columns. Same thing with this one over here with the video. It's a table data cell with a call span of 2, so it takes up 2 columns. And again, the center one has a call span of 4, takes up 4 columns. And then down here, you have 4 table data cells. You don't have any call span because they each take up 1 column. So 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. And I have ordered lists inside these table data cells. So you see the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That is to indicate a week. And then the second column will be to indicate a second week and third week and fourth week. I've got 2 days here, 2, 4, 16, 50 reps, and then I didn't do it again until 2, 9, 16, and I did 60 reps. And then all this other stuff was copy and paste so that when I actually do whatever the exercise is, I can go inside the source code and put the date and how many reps I did when I did it. Okay, so this is the first one. And in the middle I say chest to back with the ball is equal to 1 rep. Even though the model actually it just looks like she's going from behind her head to straight up in the air. When I do this exercise, I may do it that way, or I may take the ball from my chest, go up over my head, then behind my head, and that would be considered 1 rep from the chest to the back. Then back up to the chest again, and then to the back again would be 2. Okay, so then let me click my second one, and here she's doing these things called, what do they call them? Side sweep. And here's my little video. I said that 10 left plus 10 right is equal to 1 repetition. Because she swings up like she's reaching from a high shelf on one side, and then she twists down like she's taking something that she lifted from a high shelf and putting it down on a low table on the other side of her. So it's a pretty good twist. It's a decent twist for your midsection. Let's see the next one. This one's called a lunge. I'm not very good at these because my knees are starting to get a little weak, so this is something I need to do on a regular basis to strengthen my knees. And this is like a bowling move. She starts up like lifting up on her toes, and then she goes down like it just reminds me of a bowling move when I did it. And this is another thing that's actually pretty good for the knees. Okay, then there's this strange thing called the ski jumps. And this is a very funny looking move, but it's a really good twist also for your waist. And then I go to the fifth one, and this was called the twist. And I don't have a mat, so I did this on the again on my little mini trampoline, but today I blew up a twin-sized mattress, air mattress, so that I might have the option of doing these exercises on the trampoline or on the air mattress, just to protect my back and my tailbone. All right, now let's get to the last two. Here, this guy is laying on a mat, and in my video I laid on the trampoline, but I will also try it out on the air mattress and see how that works. Pulling in the ball to your chest and your knees to your chest, and then extending the ball out and your feet out. That's considered 1 rep. And as simple as that move looks, it's actually pretty good for your stomach. At least I could feel the burn pretty quick with mine. And the last one, I still haven't tried it off of the trampoline, because when I did it on the hard wooden floor, it's very painful, and I don't do push-ups well anyway, so I'm going to have to do the baby push-ups or girl push-ups, whatever you call them, on a carpet, or somehow do it off the trampoline, because doing it on the floor is just not working for me. Okay, so those are all the things that I did, and this is showing you the very smallest viewport that I can do from my desktop. So I'll go over the medicine ball code really quick. And then the medicine ball code is this entire page that you see with all these colors. So there is the opening HTML, and here's the head, and this is how we link let me put a little separator there. Here's the head. This little link section is how we put this little icon, this little medicine ball icon up here in the tab. Link rel equals shortcut icon, href equals box / a pound medicine ball dot ico, type equals image / x icon. title, again, medicine ball, and you see that up here next to the icon. Then this, we have 3 links. This is how I use 3 different style sheets. Link rel equals style sheet, media equals screen, and then in parentheses min width 1 pixel and max width 700 pixels. When the minimum width of my viewport is 1 pixel and the range is between 1 pixel and 700 pixels, href is going to be box/small-style.css. And I will go over the small style CSS right now so that you could see what styles I used to allow me to have my screen this small. Body, here's the body style: margin 0 pixels, padding 0 pixels, text align center, font size 1 EM. That means whatever the, actually, to be honest, let me go back to there. To be honest, I don't believe that the body font size did any difference. I had to put the font size in other places to make a difference. And I don't think I had, let me refresh this and see if anything happens with these fonts. Yeah, I don't, well, it's still doing its thing. I don't think it made a difference. I also put a font further down. So let me take that off, and I don't need it in medium either. Go back up to the top. This is the medium CSS. I thought I was raising the font size up just by putting them all in the body, but I had to put them in their own element. Back to the small. Okay, I've got a tag that I created called whole thing. Whole thing has a border of thick green solid and float to the left. And I tested heights and finally came up with a misspelling, no height 98%. So I'm going to just take that out because I don't want to mess anything up. I don't need that. Thick green solid, float left. Whole thing, if you look here, you see the green border? It's basically everything, all the elements are contained inside the tags called whole thing. So there's an opening whole thing and a closing whole thing. So you got the body tag, whole thing, and then all this other stuff, then the end whole thing, then the end of the body, then the end of the HTML. Then I've got a nav tag that I created with a border of thick red solid, so you can automatically look up here and you could see what element nav is creating. Thick red solid, no width 99%. Let me take that off. No height 9%. Let me take that off. No overflow scroll. Let me take that off. All of those were things that I was doing to test my work. So I don't need the float left with that either. So all I've got then for the nav is a thick red solid, padding 5 pixels, and text align center. Then I've got a tag called content, and the style for content, border thick purple solid. Now if you look right inside the green, see you got the green that's actually nesting everything. Then you've got a nav inside of that, which is being surrounded by red, and then you have a content that's being surrounded by purple. Okay, so content, border thick purple solid, height 85%, width 99%, and float left. I have for my image links, A stands for link, and I have text decoration none, so that I wouldn't get any lines attempting to underline my image links up here in the top. Then I have images, these images up here, these little teeny tiny images that I'm using for my image links. They're inside the nav tag. So in order for me to make a pseudo style, I use the name nav, which is a tag that I've created, and then image, that's another tag. So you have nav space image, the nav image. So it's specifically styling just these images, not this one down here. This one has a totally different style. So nav image style, border thick black ridge, border radius 30 pix, width 5%, and margin 3 pixels. It's just for these guys up here at the top that you click on. I have a tag called box, and this, I believe, is something that's in one of the external style sheets. It's not in Medicine Ball, it's in the one.html. Right when you get into the body, you've got the tag called box, and that's what this orange is. In the Medicine Ball, when you go get into the body, there's a tag called whole thing. Okay, so that's the difference with those two. So with the box tag, it's a border thick orange solid, float left, and width 98%. So that's everything inside this orange border that you see going around here. That's all for box, the box tag. Then I have a style for table. Let me get rid of this thing that I Z'd out because it didn't matter. Table has a border of blue, thick blue solid, and a width of 100%. And you see it right here. The table is the outer blue outline. The table data cells are the inner blue lines, blue borders. And then we've got a style for the TD, which is the table data cell. Border thick blue solid, I just told you that. Width of 25%. Because I knew I was going to have 4 columns, 25% would be for each one of them. I have a margin of 0 pixels, a padding of 0 pixels, and a text of line of center, so that this image and the video would float in the center, and the words right here in this center one would float in the center. But now when I get to these at the bottom, I have list items here, and I set my list item style to text align left, because if I didn't, all of this was floating in the middle, and I wanted to try to get as much room as possible for my text. So for the list items, they have a text align of left. Okay, here, same as up here, this pseudo element, when I said the image that's inside the nav tag, and I named it nav image. Same thing here, the image that's in the box tag. So box image gets a width of 65%. And box video gets a width of 30%. So right here, there's only one place that there's an image. It's in this table data cell, but it's also in this orange. I'm pretty sure that box was orange. Let me double check. Box, where's box? Yeah, box has the thick orange border. So it's inside, so it's a child of, box is the on the outside, so it's the parent of this inner table data cell. So the image that's inside the orange, where'd I go? Which makes a box image, has the width of 65%. The image is going to be 65% of this. No matter which one I click, I want the width to be 65%. If I click this one, this is 65%, but since it has more height, it's going to force this table data cell to be a little bit taller to keep the aspect ratio. So each time I click on one of these, this table data cell may be taller or shorter. Here it's much, a little bit shorter, and there's more or less of a gap going all the way around it as well. Okay, and the box video, which is the only place there's a video, has a width of 30%. Now, this is the small style.css, and you see box image and box video, we've got a width of 65% and 30%. If I open up my medium CSS and go straight to the same thing, it changes a little bit from, what did I say the small was? 65% and 30% to 62% and 30%, and the large one was very much different, 30% and 16%. And like I said, I'm going from 2 very different shapes. This is a rectangle that's taller than it is wide, but by the time I get to the size of my desktop, it's wider than it is tall. So my percentages have to change accordingly so that I can make sure I don't lose the bottom of this table. All right, back to my small style. I have a span tag, and I have that in this table data cell in the middle, and I gave it a style. Border thick green solid, float left, width 99%, padding 0 pixels, margin 0 pixels, and font size 1 EM. So whatever size whatever size font that the browser automatically gives the font size, 1 EM is kind of like saying 100%, like it's going to be the same size. If you wanted it to be smaller, you'd use a decimal. Like say you want it to be 75% of what the browser would normally size it, you would put 0.75 EM, and that would give you 75% of the normal browser size. So what I'm using EM for is for small, it's going to be the same that the browser does. If I go to the span tag in the medium, I use font size 1.5 EM, so I'm going a little bit larger. And then if I go to the large, the span in the large, my font size is 2 EM. So that's going to be even larger of this little center section right here. Back to the small CSS. I'm almost done with that style. My OL is my ordered list, and it's down here. You see there's one ordered list, there's two ordered lists, there's three ordered lists, there's four ordered lists, and they go from 1 to 7 because like I said, this is supposed to indicate 4 weeks worth. And I can see where I'm cheating or I'm not doing it every day because I put in the day of the month and how many reps, and like I said, I went from the 4th to the 9th and didn't do it, so shame on me. Okay, the OL has a margin left of negative 25 pixels, and the reason being, if I misspell that by putting a Z in front and save it, and then click this, you see this big old gap we've got? It looks a little cleaner because we have more white space, but I was trying to fit as much as possible on one line. So I wanted to force that over 25 pixels. So I've got margin left negative 25 pixels. I still didn't get it all on one line when it's as small as it possibly will go, but when I stretch it just a little bit more, it does go on one line. Anyway. Then I've got the ordered list item, and that's each one of the number 1 is a list item, number 2 is a list item, number 3 is a list item, and so on and so forth. Each one of those individual list items have a style of margin bottom 15 pixels. That gives me a space between this line and the next one. Otherwise they're kind of crammed. I have text align left so that this moves over to the left as much as possible, and a font size of 0.7 EM. So I want the font size that the browser would normally give, and I only want it to be 70% of that. So a little bit smaller, 70% of what it normally would be. Now, before I show you the medium style and the large style, let me show you the stretch of this. I'm going to start it over here, and let me remind you, in medicineball.html, in the head, after the title, the minimum width of 1 pixel to the maximum width of 700 pixels picks up the small style CSS. Once we reach the minimum width of 701 pixels to 1000 pixels, that size will pick up the medium style CSS. And then once we get to the 1001 pixels to 5000 pixels, and I could just put another 0 on there and make it like extra large, 50,000 pixels, then that's going to pick up the large style CSS. And I could do the same thing with pages 1 through 7. I could change that 5,000 to 50,000. But I'll do that, all the other pages in a bit. Okay, so let's stretch it. And the first thing you're going to notice is you're going to notice this center section where it says chest to back equals 1 rep. You're going to notice that that's going to get a yellow background. You'll also notice that the text will get slightly larger, and down here, these list items, the text will get slightly larger here as well. As I stretch this, before the middle part turns yellow, you'll see the image and the video get slightly larger. And then once this turns to the middle style sheet, the medium style.css style sheet, these images might get smaller initially, but the center section text will get larger and the list item text will get larger with each new style sheet. It's just that because we're going from one type of rectangle, a tall rectangle, to a short rectangle, I have to do different things with the image and video. They don't always get bigger, 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 and bigger. They get bigger to a certain extent. Then when it goes to the next style sheet, they might get smaller and then increase in size until it hits the last style sheet. It might get smaller yet and then increase a little bit more. Okay. So it's still the small style sheet. Still the small style sheet. Almost, almost. There. Now we're on the medium style sheet. You probably noticed that the text in the middle got larger and the text in the list items got larger. But remember, my goal is to not lose my table. I did not want my table to get lost, that you'd have to scroll down to see the list items. So that was what caused me to have to keep my image and my video smaller than I maybe would have liked to have. Okay, so now we're still on the middle, still on the middle, still on the middle. And this is going to turn orange. The center part that's yellow will turn orange, and the text there will get larger, and the text in the bottom part will also get larger. Almost. There we go. Now we're on the large style sheet. And you notice that the picture and the video definitely got smaller. When I allowed the picture and the video to get bigger and bigger, we wound up losing the bottom of the table, and you had to scroll down to see it. And my goal was to not have to do that. I don't want the user to have to scroll. Of course, this is only based on my stretching with my simple desktop. There's all kinds of different sizes of desktops and viewports. And finally, if I just open it all the way up, you get that. Okay, so again, let's go through this really quick. There's that first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, and seventh one. I haven't tried this on my big screen TV to see how it would stretch, and I know that there are other ways to do this other than using multiple style sheets, but this is the only way that I know how to so far. When I learn better, more efficient ways to do this, then I'll do a video at that time, but right now this is basically how I know how to do it. What else did I want to go over? See, I don't really need to look at this again. Here's my Firefox. I can show you that it has the same functionality. The only problem is I have to come up with the OGG and the WebM file types, and or figure out the configuration of Firefox so that my video works. So here it's showing the small style sheet. Again, this is Firefox. It's going to go yellow in the middle in a second. There we go. And then it's going to go orange. There we go. And then when I take it all the way, if I can open it, something about this, it's like taking off without me. Why? Alright, there's the totally large. And again, I'll test every single page to make sure I don't lose the bottom of my table. Okay, and that's that. The only thing that I could do is I could go over the medium and large style sheet, and then this video's done. So I already showed you medicine ball HTML. I don't think I went over 1.html in this video. I know I went over it in another, but I'll click on one. That's this one, and I'll go over that really quick. There's the HTML starting tag, there's the head. This is the exact same 3 links that Medicine Ball had, that said, you know, the minimum and maximum, and linking it to the small style.css or the medium style.css or the large style.css. Well, same thing. I've got exact same 3 links. I've got in the 1.html, the 2.html, all the way to the 7.html. And that's the end of the head. Here's the body. Here's that box tag I told you that I created, which has the border of thick orange solid. So there's the box. And then we've got our table tag. There's our table row. So from that purple to that purple, there's your first table row. TD means table data cell with a call span of 2. That's the first one here with the model. And inside that table data tag is the image src equals tricep.bitmap. End of table data cell. The next table data cell is over here with this little control that you see that doesn't work. TD call span of 2. Video, controls, and muted are the only 2 things that I gave it. I didn't give it a loop and I didn't give it an autoplay. Source src equals 1.mp4, type equals video/mp4. Source src equals 1.og, type equals video/og. Source src equals 1.webm, type equals video/webm. The error message if your browser doesn't use the video tag is the words your browser does not support the video tag. End video, end TD, end, that's ending of the first table row. Go down. Here's the second table row. It's very short. TD with a call span of 4, so it goes across the whole table because tables has the most columns the table has, and this particular table is 4. And then there's a span inside of it, and I told you that the span tag was styled. Where is it? Right here. That's the border with the thick green solid. And it just has the words in this one, chest to back equals 1 rep. And that's what you see in the middle. End of the TD, end of the TR. And the last table row has quite a bit of things in it. It's got 4 table data cells. There's 1. And inside that table data cell, there's an ordered list. And inside the ordered list are 7 list items. So you'll see the numbers 1 through 7. And the first list items has the date 2/4/16 equals 50 reps. And you see that right here by the number 1. And by the number 2, you see 2/9/16 equals 60 reps. That's what you see right there. And then all the rest of them are just basically placeholders for future dates and reps. 2 nothing 16 and nothing reps. You can see all that all the way down there. And the next thing is basically just copy and paste. A TD tags, OL tags, and 7 LI tags inside of that. And the third table data cell also has an ordered list and 7 list items inside of there. The third table data cell, a lot of repeating going on. Or actually, that's the fourth. There's the first, there's the second, there's the third, and there's the fourth. And because I did copy and paste, you're seeing 2/4 and 2/9 over and over again. Now, obviously, when I get to this next week, those dates will change, and I'll change those accordingly. The end of the ordered list, the end of the table data cell, the end. I don't know why I have 2 end of table data cells. That's not accurate. Okay, so I got rid of that. The end of the table row, the end of the table, and the end of the box, which is the orange part, the end of the body, the end of the HTML. So for each one of these links that opens up another page. This opens up opens up 2.html, which is more or less a copy and paste of one HTML, and the only thing that's different is the name of the image that shows the model, the name of the MP4 video that I took with my cell phone, and then the span that says, what actually indicates one rep, and the date and how many reps were done with that particular exercise. Other than that, everything else in the other pages are the same. Okay, so I showed you the small style. I showed you one.html. I told you that that's more or less the same as all the other ones that link. The medium style, not that you have the small style memorized, but it's more or less a copy and paste also, with just a few things changed. Again, for the medium style CSS, margin of 0 pixels, padding 0 pixels, text align center. The tag called whole thing, border thick green solid, float left. That's this one that you're actually looking at, because this one, it's smaller, is actually this one with no yellow. But when it turns yellow on that span, that's actually showing this middle medium CSS. Whole thing, border thick green solid, float left, no height, 98%. So I could take that. Anything that I figured I really didn't need to use, I'm going to take out. Nav, let me get all these no things out. And no float, don't need that. No width, don't need that. Okay, so the nav has a border thick red solid, padding of 5 pixels, text align center. That's exactly the same. Got a content tag, border thick purple solid, height 85% with 99% float left. Again, my A length has a text decoration of none. My image that's inside the nav tag has the border of thick black ridge, border radius of 30 pixels, width of 5%, and margin of 3%. The box tag has a border of thick orange solid, float left, width 98%. The table, don't need a height. The table has a border of thick blue solid, a width of 100%. Table data cell, thick blue solid, border thick blue solid, width 25%, margin 0 pixels, padding 0 pixels, text align center. This is a little different than the small one. This box image has a width of 62% and box video has a width of 30%. It was different in small CSS. The span is a little bit different, not a whole lot. Border thick green solid, float left, width 98%, padding 5 pixels, background color yellow, font size 1.5 EM. It was 1 for the small, it's 1.5, so it's getting a little bigger there. And the OL has a margin left of 20. Before it had of negative 20. Before it had a margin left, I think, of negative 25. And as these get larger, I had to move it over less. So instead of making it in the negative further and further, I had to make it into the negative less. So I had to go from like 25 to 20. So that the numbers wouldn't be way over here in the middle of the blue borders. And the ordered list item has a margin bottom of 15 pixels, the text align of left, and the font size of 1 EM. So let's see the large one. And the large one, I can open this up. I think I can open this up till it's orange. There. Body, margin 0 pixels, padding 0 pixels, text align center. Nothing's changed there. I don't think whole thing has changed either. Border thick green solid, float left. Let's get rid of these no-nos. Nav, border thick red solid, padding 5 pixels, text align center. The content tag, border thick purple solid, height 85% with 99% float left. A text decoration, none. Nav image, Border thick black ridge, border radius 30 pixels, width 5%, margin 3 pixels. Box, border thick orange solid, float left width 98%. Table, border thick blue solid width 100%. Table data cell, border thick blue solid width 25%, margin 0 pixels, padding 0 pixels, text align center. The box image has a width of 30% and the box video has a width of 16%. Those changed greatly. The span tag, border thick green solid, float left width 99%, padding 5 pixels, background color orange, font size 2 EM. The ordered list, margin left negative 10 pixels, so that moved over to the right even more. And the ordered list item, margin bottom 15 pixels, text align left, font size 1.5 EM. So basically I went over how to use 3 different style sheets based on the width of your viewport. This is the second video that I did concerning that. I went over the complete code of the page that you open that's called medicineball.html. I went over one of the external pages that actually gets pulled into an iframe by these image links, and that basically represents how all the rest of the pages work all the way to 7.html. I showed you how my MP4 video file from my cell phone works fine in Chrome but does not work in Firefox, so I have to figure out how to fix that. And I can't really think of anything different other than those things. So with that, I'm going to close this video and try to figure out how I could make this work in Firefox.